Hey guys, I'm here today with a video response for All-Star Jersey Shop. I'll leave a link to his contest video if anyone wants to check out the rules. But basically he wanted us to put together a lineup in any sport. I chose baseball. And if you win, he's going to create that lineup in a video game of whatever sport you choose and put it up against his lineup. So I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. And he said you could do it a number of different ways. You can just even write it on a piece of paper if you want, but I figured I'd show my lineup in card form. Some of these cards I showed before, but some I haven't. And this doesn't necessarily have to be like your all-time greatest ranked players at every position. You can have fun with it, so I just wanted to pick a mix of current and former players that I liked. So some of these guys may not be some of the most popular names, but it's just who I decided to go with. So we'll start with catcher. It's one of my new PC guys, Kyle Schwarber. I know there are a lot of popular guys on that Cubs team, but he's definitely my favorite out of all of them, and I think he has a lot of potential. Not sure if he'll stay at catcher in real life, but for my team, I put him at the catcher position. And so we'll go around the horn to third base. Next is a guy that I've seen a lot of over the years, Evan Longoria. Sorry, but I didn't have a better card of him, but like I said, he's a guy I've seen a lot since he plays in the AL East. He plays against the Yankees a lot, and I have a lot of respect for this guy. Just a tremendous all-around player. Really solid hitter, good power, solid defensively, good arm. So just a really good player all around, so he had to be my third baseman. And next, shortstop. I didn't want to put too many Yankees on this team because that would have been too easy to just put Yankees at every position, but there's no way I wasn't going to go with a Yankee at shortstop. No way I wasn't going to go with this guy. I don't think I really have to explain that one too much. I just saw his whole career, and it was an amazing career, so he definitely has to be my shortstop. And second base was a little bit more tough. I realized there were a lot of current and former second basemen that I liked. Almost went with Roberto Alomar here, but like I said, didn't want to just pick all the obvious choices. So I picked a lesser known guy, but it's a player that I always enjoyed watching. Jose Vidro. I got to see a lot of him too, playing in the National League East. He played a lot against the Mets, so I saw a lot of those games and always enjoyed watching him. Switch hitter, had a close to a career 300 batting average, about 120 career home runs, and I think he was a multiple time All-Star too, pretty solid defensively. So, not a Hall of Famer by any means, but like I said, a player that I really liked, really enjoyed watching. And first base was another one that was tough. I think there were probably like a dozen guys I wanted to put here, but decided to go with a steroid guy, which I know some people may not be fond of, but it's a guy that I always enjoyed watching in the mid to late 90s, Mark McGwire. That's a BGS 8.5. That was one of the first cards I ever got graded. And yeah, despite all the steroid stuff, this guy was so much fun to watch. Every at-bat was a must-see at-bat. And I'll never forget all those monster home runs he hit and the overall excitement of watching him hit. So decided to make him the first baseman for this team. And at left field, hopefully you guys won't judge me, but I went with another steroid guy, but probably not the one you're thinking of. Almost went with Barry for many of the same reasons that I chose McGwire, but instead decided to go with Manny Ramirez. Believe it or not, he was one of my favorite all-time players. He grew up in Washington Heights, which is not very far from me, and just one of the best right-handed hitters I ever saw. Great RBI, man. Seemed like every time he came up with runners on, he'd find a way to get them in. And I liked him ever since his early days in Cleveland and even in his years in Boston. So decided to make him the left fielder. And center field was an easy one. Again, didn't want to go with too many Yankees, but there was no way I wasn't going to go with this guy in center field. Bernie Williams, one of my all-time favorite players, probably my all-time favorite Yankee. Just a perfect combination of talent on the field and humility off the field. So definitely wanted him to be my center fielder. And right field was a tough one. Almost went with Tony Gwynn, who was one of my all-time favorites. Thought about Roberto Clemente too, but decided to go with a current guy. And it's a guy that I hope will one day patrol right field in Yankee Stadium for the Yankees. It's Bryce Harper. Had a bit of a down year, but you look at his numbers in the so-called down year, and that would have been a career year for a lot of guys. And he's still very young, has a tremendous amount of talent. So I wanted to go with him in right field. And I don't know if this game is going to be played under American League rules, but just in case, put in a DH. Went with Edgar Martinez. Even though I do think Ortiz is the greatest DH ever, like I said, this team isn't about who you think ranks higher. It's about who you really want on your team. So decided to go with Edgar here. And not sure if I had to pick a starting pitcher, but just in case, I picked one and decided to go with another Yankee here. And it's probably not one you guys would think of. I know the Yankees have had a lot of superstar pitchers, and this guy was never really considered a superstar, but he was always one of my favorite pitchers. Orlando Hernandez. Pitched a lot of big games. Really big-time clutch pitcher. Won a lot of postseason games. And was very entertaining to watch with the high leg kick, and just pitched with a lot of energy and emotion. Would get himself in some big-time jams and miraculously get himself out of it. So just one of my favorite pitchers ever to watch. So decided to put him on the team. And so that's my squad. Hopefully you guys will check out the link and make a lineup of your own. I'd be interested to see what people come up with in any sport. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon.